So here we are on chapter 4.3, demonstrating the use of logical operators. So what are operators? This table here does a pretty good job explaining to you what we mean by operators. So it's going to be more or less comparison characters that we can go ahead and utilize to test certain values within R. Most of these you've seen in basic math. Some of these are a little different because the computer has to be able to read it. Just as we see here in the second or the third cell, the less than or equal to, instead of having a line below it, you don't have that in computer language, so it is written as less than or equal to. And for all of these values, what the return value you're going to get is going to be a Boolean value. So you're either going to get a true or a false. Now, stepping back for a moment, one of these operators look a little bit different that you probably haven't seen thus far, and that's going to be the one at the very bottom, where you see percentage sign in percentage sign. Here we are trying to see whether one value is in a different vector or an array of data points. So we're going to check whether or not capital A is seen within the vector here on the right. At the end of the day, the return value is still the same. It's going to be a true or false. It's either going to be there or it's not going to be there. So our logical operators, these can check for values found between vectors using percentage sign in and a percentage sign. That notation is very important because if you just use in like you would in a language like Python, it's not going to work very well. So this checks if a value is found within another vector and returns a Boolean result. So here we see in the example on the right, is 2 in the vector 1 through 4? Yes, it is. So the result is going to be true. You can also pass a vector to see if the points are found within another vector. So we can pass in 1 and 3, and it will check the individual values and return true or false for each one. So the values to compare can be an individual data point or a vector that contains data. So pretty self-explanatory. As we see here, you can make it any length you want, so long as you're willing to expect it to return a true or false value. One last thing I wanted to cover on this is that logicals can be paired with other operators to gather insight of the data. Aside from the standard operators, you can utilize and it's a straight line down. So we see here logicals or other vector, and it's going to check the condition here.